It was just a dream. Ah! Oh. So today we are discussing Mai-Chans daily life, and before we start, I would like just to put a warning. I put one at the start, and there was an ant on my camera. Where are these ants coming from? So I did want to put a disclaimer, disclaiming talking to you guys for this one. I put one at the start, obviously, but I just want to reiterate again that I'm going to start off by talking about the manga. Now, the manga actually has a lot worse subject matter than the movie. The movie actually, I will explain later on, is a lot different than the manga itself. So I just wanted to say, for this first part, please, if you are uncomfortable with any of these terms that I have put below, or they might trigger you or something like that, please either click off the video or skip ahead to this time. It'll be somewhere on the screen. I don't know where, but it'll be somewhere. But yeah, if you're very uncomfortable with that kind of stuff, please skip ahead. I totally understand. I was very uncomfortable reading it, so I understand completely. If you just want to listen to me talking about the movie, that was so ridiculous that you can barely take any of it seriously. But if you're okay with it, let's get on with the review, and I hope you enjoy. So what is Mai-Chans daily life? Well, it's an Eroguro manga that was published in 2004 by a writer under the pen name of Waita Uziga. And I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correct. It is just his pen name, by the way. I did look it up, and there's not a lot of information on the guy, actually. I was trying to find some information, but oddly enough, he's like in the movie, like in the special scenes, and he has pictures of him, but there is little information on him. But yes, Waita is a very prominent man in the Eroguro scene, as you would call it. He's very, not famous, I'd say more infamous for his depictions in his manga. So Waita is very, very controversial and infamous in the community for his depiction of women getting mutilated. That's kind of his forte. And it's weird that that's somebody's forte, I know, but it is. It's what he was described as. Now, the manga itself has 11 chapters. 11 long chapters that I read. Now, yes, as a series, there's not actually much I can talk about with this because it honestly doesn't have a story. Like I said, Waita's stuff mostly just consists of torture. So Mai-Chan's daily life is described as a young maid referred to as Mai-Chan, happens to be immortal, and her mistress, so we can already see where this is going, forces her to participate in sexual acts with her customers. And those customers are allowed to do whatever they want since she's immortal and can regenerate. It's kind of like Deadpool's regeneration in a way. I know that's an odd comparison, but like, you know, in the Deadpool movies where like, you know, you cough a limb, it just regrows back. It's just like that basically. But yes, there are other characters like Kade, who is the mistress, Kazuna, who is a young boy with the same powers, which we will touch on. Oh, we will touch on. There's also Sayurin, who is hard to explain, so we'll talk about that later as well. There's you know what? There is a lot to talk about. There's George Reitman, who's president of a country. He's just supposed to be stereotypical American, like bad person, government person. But he's in one of the most fucked up scenes of the manga. And then there's Irumo Muraki, I believe is the name, who's just a tsundere, but again, is in a lot of fucked up scenes. So what exactly happens in this manga? Because in all honesty, so much happens, but nothing at all. And I know that sounds confusing, but let me explain. Let me give you little tidbits. See, there is kind of an overarching story. Obviously, Mai-Chan has Kaide, who sells her out to people who can do whatever they want. Basically, people can come in, pay to do whatever they want since she's immortal, and they leave. And it's just really not nice to watch. They do stuff like eye puncture, tearing out guts, basically all like if you can think of any horror mutilation, it's probably in this manga. Now, what I meant by kind of there's a story is, like I said, there's a character called Sayurin. Basically, Sayurin is their pet, who is a human girl with her limbs removed, so she crawls on the ground like a dog, and it's terrible. I hate it. It's just awful. Like, you feel so bad. And the worst part is, like, okay, if you have seen my Midori video, which you should have, then you will know I said that even though Midori was disturbing and had a lot of really messed up stuff in it, I do respect the creator for his trying to get a message across, and overall, it was just a piece of art. Well, if Midori was a piece of art, Mai-Chan is the stark opposite. I got this idea from a Redditor, actually, because I asked them, what is the most disturbing movie I could review? And they said, Mai-Chan's Daily Life. So I decided to read the manga and watch the movie. But anyway, after that, and after reading, I wanted to get everybody's kind of opinion. What's the overall consensus on this? So I asked Reddit, what's your opinion on Mai-Chan's Daily Life? And what I got was very interesting, actually. See, most people, and I myself included, actually find the first few chapters not too bad. They're kind of like dark comedy. Like, it's a lot of more Mai-Chan herself just being clumsy, falling over and getting hurt. There's like a part where like she falls out a window, smashes her head, and there's like brain dripping into like the master's like supper. I don't know if it was just kind of like dark comedy that just kind of, with all the cutesy animation that he had drawn and everything, and Mai-Chan herself just being overly preppy about like, here you go, and then like just the brain's like, it was just really funny. But then it kind of devolves into what one Redditor said, and they themselves even said that, you know, they usually like Eroguro, you know, it kind of is their thing. And no judgment for anybody who, you know, is into gore stuff, you know, everybody likes their own thing. I personally don't get it, but you know what? Who am I to judge? As long as it stays in fiction. But they even said that those final chapters, especially the last one, is just taken way too far. There is a line to be drawn even when it comes to art for me, and that was drawn very much so. But anyway, yes, Sayurin is like their pet. She dies by getting stabbed in the eye. It's not much. It makes Midori's like mind kind of break, so she forgets who she was. And then we have Kazuna, who is a underage boy. And I think you know where this is going, because he has the same powers as Mai-Chan. And this is your last warning. If you want to skip now, because we're entering the really deranged stuff here. These are those chapters that just push it way over the edge. So skip if you want to. But someone forces Kazuna onto Mai-Chan, and it's all kinds of messed up because Mai-Chan thinks of him as her brother, and I'm gonna skip past this because I feel sick just remembering it already. But anyway, Kazuna gets taken away. There's a lot of like male mutilation, if you know what I mean, in that part. And I felt uncomfortable, so that's great. But anyway, Mai-Chan now is pregnant. I felt like I was put on a list for reading this. Okay, but anyway, let's get on with it. So she's pregnant, and we talked about that president dude. Well, he's really fucked up, but basically he cuts out the baby, performs SA on it, and if you don't know what I mean by SA, just take those first two letters and think of the crime. And then he puts the baby in a blender. So if you're ever wondering where that anime meme comes from, surprise! Then Mai-Chan, just at that point, is like mentally broken because she actually did like the baby and wanted to keep it. Which is really, there's some weird like purity stuff in this, like about like, I don't want to get rid of the baby, even though it'll be raised in a terrible environment. And like, that made me uncomfortable, so thanks for that as well. But then, because he stabbed like Kaida in the eye because he was like mad. So she stabs him in the brain, and like gives him a lobotomy, I guess, is what happens, because he returns and he's like talking dumb or something. And then it just kind of ends with like her like going back to work, like Mai-Chan going back to work, and it's not like happy or anything. But yeah, that's Mai-Chan's daily life. Like, it's hard to talk about because like it's so messed up, but at the same time it's so nothing. Like, at least with Midori, there's a story there, right? And there's a reason for it to be made. With Mai-Chan's daily life, it is just eroguro. It's erotic gore. I think one of the Redditors put it best when they told me that Waita was definitely thinking with his head and not the one on top. I'm talking about his penis. But now, luckily, we're done with the manga. We can actually talk about something a little more fun, which is the movie. And the reason I say it's fun is because this is a shit movie, and it's fun to talk about bad movies. And don't worry, guys, the stuff about the baby and everything is only from the manga. There is nothing like that in this movie, because I'm pretty sure if they did that, someone would have went to jail. But I do want to put up a warning that this is still an eroguro movie. There is still gore mixed with sexual acts, and if that makes you uncomfortable, please click off. But I will say real fast, and I'll probably mention this throughout the video, but it's actually pretty good gore effects, all things considered. That's the one thing I will give praise for, is whoever the makeup artists were and everything, they get a thumbs up. Everything else was shit though, except maybe the actors. The actors were okay. But you know, I feel like if I'm going to review the Mai-Chan movie, I have to feel like Mai-Chan. How do I look? You know, I think that that the people who made this did not take into account that a big burly Canadian man would be the one wearing it. But there you go. Intimidating, is it not? It doesn't even... It's something. It's something. This is the stupidest shit I've ever fucking done. Oh, I should have stayed with the fucking Fortnite videos and Let's Plays. The shitty Let's Plays. At least I look pretty... pretty buff in it. Huh? Oh yeah, why didn't I start wearing maid dresses a long time ago? I bought this off Wish, by the way. And I know Wish isn't like known for their like product, but like it's not bad, but like I think I should burn this afterwards. But anyway, let's go on with the movie. So a lot like the manga, the movie is not necessarily good, nor is it really have a plot. But it's very different from the book in that what takes place isn't anything like the manga. So let me explain. For example, there are two new characters. There's the new master, who is a guy in a wheelchair. Mayuki is another character who applies for the maid job. She shows up. Mai-Chan is there in very shitty lighting, might I add. Like, you probably won't be able to see it because I don't have clips from the movie itself. But just trust me, you can probably see from the trailer, the lighting in this movie is shit. And I know I have like lighting things behind me, but you can see right now, the lighting on my face, it isn't bad. It's easy enough to get actual like natural lighting if you know how to work it. I usually use my window for my lighting, and if I want to make the visuals a bit darker, I can cover it up to give it a bit more, you know, just so I'm not like in darkness. But that's like so simple of a filmmaking technique that you should know that going in. That's like the first thing you learn in film school. Secondly, the camera work's just really shit. Well, actually, you know what? For a point, it's pretty good. I mean, it gets everything it needs to. I swear to God, half this movie is boob shots and ass shots. And on top of everything else, there's just no plot. Again, it's just mostly boobs and ass shot. And then Mayuki comes across Mai-Chan getting her eye stabbed and eaten seductively. I never thought I'd say eye eaten and seductively in the same sentence. And now that I have, I don't know where to go with my life. I do have to say, though, again, the eye effect was really good. It reminded me a lot of Lucio Fulci films, who's a Italian horror genre person who's known for his gore. Now, after this, Mayuki finds out that she kind of likes it. She kind of likes a little eye gouging. She kind of likes a little eating. She kind of likes it. She's a little bit, should I say, got the horny? Basically, Mayuki SAs Mai-Chan and bites out her tongue, which Mai-Chan doesn't like, as most people wouldn't. So she goes out to get a crepe. I am not joking, there's just a part where she goes to get a crepe. I don't know what is happening in this movie. I'm uncomfortable. and I just want it to be over. 60 minutes, it feels like forever. There's a lot of filters in black and white, and don't get me wrong, black and white filters can work. It's just the fact that it doesn't in this, because I keep switching between it. There is one cool scene where they contrast blood red to the black and white. Other than that, though, it doesn't serve much purpose other than, along with a lot of other parts of the movie, it's just an ugly filter they put over for some reason. But now we're at the end of the movie where there's just a long, drawn-out scene of Mai-Chan being tortured with a chainsaw and, like, stabbing, and, you know, Mayuki, I think, is eating it, and then, like, she gives some to Mai-Chan because, you know, sharing's caring. But anyway, yes, then she's, like, better, and, like, then Mayuki's, like, sitting there taking care of her, and, like, she has a big gash on her stomach because of the cutting. And then Mai-Chan has the big cut. Mayuki takes her fingers, like, puts them in it. And have all the injuries been an allegory for pussy? But yeah, that was the movie. You know, I took notes of the movies, but the game kind of became useless afterwards because there wasn't, like, anything really to talk about. But I thought I'd just read you guys off some of the notes I took. Let me just see here. So, some of the notes, some of my favorites for my notes were, title screen, so shitty, already regretting this. This is shit. Camera angles and slow-mo hurt my eyes. Why black and white? Why color change? Why ugly filter? Why movie? What is this low buzzing sound? Hate. All this hatred. Yeah. There was a lot of, like, buzzing sounds in the movie. I don't know if it was just the audio quality or if, like, they just added in for... I don't know. Pissing, hell yeah, because there was also piss, because why not piss, right? Some cool stuff was actually, there was some Arrow Girl on her bookshelf that, when, at the start of the movie, that was kind of cool, just kind of a little callback, and the title, when they were showing, like, the characters and everything, they actually used, like, panels from the manga and then the character name, which was, it could be seen as just lazy, but, like, I found it kind of cool. Then one of my favorites was I would rather have reviewed an actual snuff film. But yeah, so that's kind of Mai-Chan's daily life. It's kind of a weird mix of, I feel like everybody blows out of proportion how, like, crazy this is. Like, it's definitely disturbing if you haven't seen it before, but other than the shock value, you don't have much here. It's just a kind of a shittily made manga. And as for the creators themselves, it's kind of hard to talk about them because other than some behind the scenes on the disc, which were actually kind of funny, they were edited like a YouTube video, which was kind of cute. They don't have much stuff behind them. They have, like, some other projects like Sexy Zombies and stuff like that. But I thought I'd just kind of bring to light this kind of odd kind of piece of work. It's definitely not art. It's definitely not art. But it is interesting to look at and discover kind of this early kind of side of the anime community where everyone was so, like, weirded out and, like, discovering this, like, crazy underground manga. It was like everyone was discovering a snuff film. That being said, though, it was kind of interesting to research something like this, and I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, please like, comment, subscribe, share. It all helps the video, and it helps me get out there so I can make more content for you guys. And yeah, this has been Scary Syrup in a maid outfit, reviewing Mai-Chan's daily life. That's very much cutting off circulation, so stay spooky, and I'm gonna pass out now. See ya.